There's one hack that if you implement into your content strategy, into your funnel strategy, it is like playing a game on cheat code. Essentially, if you use this, it's like playing Minecraft in creative mode. Obtaining diamonds just becomes so simple. I found this out through helping out the coaches in my incubator. We've been trying some new marketing messaging strategies in order to acquire more buyers. And I realized there's an underlying pattern from what makes a new coach who is convincing people, struggling to get people to hop on calls, to the coach where it just seems like they are scaling effortlessly. People are attracted to them and they are a magnet and a leader within their niche. So the difference is identity selling. And we implemented this method into my guy Mark's business and he hit $37,000 just in 30 days by switching up the way his audience sees him and what he is truly selling. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Brett Foley and currently I'm building the best incubator for popping out the most elite level coaches and info sellers in this entire space. And in doing so, mastering identity selling has become a quintessential thing that these elite coaches and info sellers, people who are at top of the game, need to implement. So without further ado, let's hop to it on the computer. Okay, so identity selling equals coaching on easy mode. To understand identity selling and why this makes coaching extremely easy, we need to understand what the typical coach is doing. Coach Jimmy. Okay, Jimmy here is just like everybody else, right? There's the buyer's pathway. Here's Jimmy. Here's the prospect. And the way he gets somebody to buy is completely different from what the top 1% of coaches and info sellers are doing. And that is, he is solely reliant on speaking to actions, pains, results, goals, and information. Okay? So he's creating content, and even throughout his sales systems, his funnels, everything he's doing, he's creating content that's saying, this is what you're doing right now, this is what you need to do, and this is the outcome you actually get. This is a clear difference between the Chad of info selling or Chad of coaches, because the problem that happens here is these types of things are very surface level emotions. Okay. If we look at the emotional scale here, we can see logic is at the top. And then the surface level is here. And at the bottom, we have emotions. And information is very logically oriented. If you don't know that, then just stop watching. But actions, results, goals, and even logic, pain. This is where most business owners and content creators end up sitting at, is this type of stuff here. And this is truly what results in you being in a red ocean, not one of one, right? If you want to make sales and marketing effortless for yourself, it becomes effortless when nobody else is like you. Okay? And logic, pains, goals, results, and actions and information just don't do that. Everybody's speaking to this. Think of, like logically or information like, hey, here you're doing bicep curls wrong. Here are the top 5 ways to do bicep curls that get you bigger biceps. Just think about that for a moment. How does that generate high ticket buyers? It clearly doesn't. The logic pain side of this is most of the time, you're not just going deep enough. You're speaking to like, hey, you have a packed calendar, so it's hard to work out. Here's some tips on how to depack your calendar. That's logically orientated pain, right? Okay, logically, and just get somebody to think about logically. My calendar's packed out. Okay, I have pain around that, but it's not going deep enough. And identity selling is essential for making your audience see you differently. What it really is tapping into here is deep, deep, deep emotions, more than just the surface level. And if we get a quote from Zig Ziglar here, one of the best sellers in the world, people don't buy for logical reasons. They buy for emotional reasons. You always get sales based off of emotions, and people buy into you based on how they feel about you as well. So right now we're totally in this area where content is just at this all-time hyper awareness by our consumers. Selling these surface level goals, solutions, and painkillers only give you these surface level investments, right? Information doesn't sell. AI already gives information away for like, I don't know, what is it, $17 a month for ChatGPT? And features do not sell your product. You're just competing with everybody else. If you do all of these things here, this is typically how somebody sells. And the benefits of identity selling, it gets buyers to align with your offer on an identity level, which causes them to be more committed. Retention, transformation, and belief into you and your product. So there's no refunds. And identity buying bypasses objections. You're not worried about calls, program material, or being burned. They're actually worried about coming into the identity. So let's understand though, what is identity? We need to understand this in order to interweave this into our content strategy. So identity really comes from, if we understand the brain, there's really three parts to it. Number one, we have the neurocortex, logic, analysis, facts, language. Number two, we have the limbic system. This is emotion, motivation, memory, identity. And number three, the reptilian brain, survival, instinct, reaction. Okay, like an identity kind of sits between the two. To give you some examples here, when somebody believes they're a beginner, that's their identity that they align with. And there's somebody who has the identity of an expert. Their reactions are going to be different. This person can have all the expert tools, but their identity still aligns with a beginner. So they don't utilize these expert tools in the right way. So your identity dictates your behaviors, your actions, and then your logical thinking rationalizes that. So people justify logic after they're already decided based on identity and emotions. Identity is speaking directly to the part of the brain that makes the buying decision happen. And if we dive into that a little bit more, right? People aren't buying because they want your program, or they're not buying into you because you gave them information. They make a buying decision based off the identity that they want. Okay? They don't want to just lose weight. They want to be the person that makes weight loss and maintaining that weight loss natural. They want to adopt those habits. So if they begin to align themselves with that identity of somebody who shows up for themselves and shows up for their body, then the actions come. And it doesn't matter about the information in the program. You need to sell people into that identity. So in all, identity equals self-image plus beliefs plus behavior patterns. People act in alignment to their identity. And number one, what this is doing here is it bypasses objections. Selling features activates the logical portion of the brain, and it causes rationalization and objections to appear. This is the brain's way of protecting us from making a risky or emotional decision too quickly. As we know, to change, we need to make risky decisions, but our mind is holding us back with this logical thinking because it still aligns with the safe identity that the person has. This is why you can give somebody all the information in the world. All the information is on ChatGPT, and they still do not make a change because their identity still aligns with the person who doesn't make a change. This begins to position yourself as an expert when you begin to speak to the identity, because selling to identity makes your offer bigger than the deliverables, right? If you're somebody who's saying, hey, you're going to get this 8-week program with these video modules, this happened, like people do not want that. They want deep down inside and on an emotional level to their core, almost to the reptilian part of their brain, they want the transformation. Identity selling is just a better way to talk about transformations and goals and stuff. So people follow, engage, and buy from experts/leaders, not program information. Number 4, it attracts more aligned, high intent buyers. When your content speaks to the identity, you repel low committed bargain hunter followers because they're not focused on the price anymore. They're not focused on the video modules. They're not focused on the features of the program. They're focused on what they can become. You attract people who see your offer as part of their future self. These buyers don't nitpick price or ask about the modules that I was just saying. They want the identity shift. They trust you to get there, and they begin to trust you to get them there. And I'll show you how to do this in a second. And number 5, identity-driven content creates connection fast. Buyers don't need information. They need to feel. You get me, right? If you want to build maximum trust and be seen completely different, it's speaking to the identity that you know you want to transform. And when you do that on a deep, deep level, the viewers begin to be like, this guy just gets me. I mean, think to yourself, have you ever watched somebody and it just seemed like every single word that they were saying was taken out of your brain? That's when they're speaking to your identity. And when they do that, you begin to trust them more because you know they know your exact problems. It creates this you get me type of sense. And when your content speaks to their internal story, it builds that instant rapport and trust, which leads to more DMs, more book calls, and more sales. And ultimately making you different in the marketplace because, I mean, all this stuff makes you different in the marketplace, but really like you're speaking to somebody on a level that nobody else can speak to. Okay? So how do you actually go about identity selling? It's really speaking to the core identity and talking about the new identity they want and the benefits that come with it, as well as the habits and what you need to be like, and showing them that. But to give you a little bit more of a sense here, let's just say I'm selling to fitness people or 30-pound overweight dads. The identity that the person currently has is a provider, not a priority. I take care of everyone else. There's no time left for me. Washed up athlete. I used to be in shape. I just don't have time no more. The tired dad, always low energy, short-tempered. My kids don't get the best version of me. The justifier. It's not bad. I'm not, obese. I'll get to it. So these are all the current identities that they align with. And this is much deeper on the emotional scale. And when you begin to talk to this person and call them out and then show them or talk about the new identity that they want to be into that makes this easy, this is what truly makes you one-on-one. So we're moving this person into the fit leader. My kids follow what I do, not just what I say. The peak performer. I operate at the highest level in business and at life. The energy multiplier. I've got more energy for my family, my team, and myself. The disciplined man. So these are, you get it. Like these are the identities to speak to, and you're filling that gap. If you're on a sales call, you might say something like, Brad, staying at 30 pounds overweight, low energy, and disconnected from your kids is costing more than you think. Current identity. This isn't just about weight loss. It's about becoming the fit, focused, high-performing dad they look up to. And to make that shift, it's just $6,000, right? The questions don't become about the program. It doesn't, make you seem like everybody else because you're showing them the new identity that you, in a way, already have or that you talk to. And that is identity selling. It's a deeper way to get into the emotions, which causes more sales, to make you seem different than just providing information. So if you want this game board along with all the other ones I create in my YouTube video, the link will be in the description for this. And if you want to book a call to be a coach that develops a micro cult that is different from everybody else and that makes sales and marketing feel effortless because you're a leader in your business and in your life, then go ahead, book that call. We'll just see if we're a good fit. We'll see if you're ready to be inside our incubator. No pressure if you're not. We'll just have a talk. But see you in the next video.